I think our defense is playing extremely well. And then individually, Carson Cline all year long has just played outstanding. Last Friday night he had those 4 defensive scores for us, so he's playing well. Our defensive line, again, they're putting a lot of pressure on quarterbacks, forcing them out of game plans. We're making a lot of tackles right at the line. So we're not giving up a lot of yardage. Another thing I think that's really helped us is some of our seniors have really stepped up this year. They're been great leaders so far. We just need to keep things going. Offensively, the big thing there is our offensive line. At the beginning of the year, we didn't know what we were going to have, but right now they're playing pretty well.
So one thing Carson really said was the offensive line has really been a lot better this year. And I know talking with you at the beginning of the year, it was running backs who were taking over, and you didn't really know.
Yeah, exactly. Our center's a fullback. He's a sophomore, Derek Van Tiger. Our right guard is a former tailback, Tyler Brokaw. So, we didn't know how they were all going to gel together, but they've really worked hard. When we go over the blocking schemes every week, these guys really concentrate on what they're supposed to do. And then on game night, they go out and execute.
You mentioned Carson, who's having a great year, passing the ball, running the ball. Defensively, he scored 4 touchdowns in one game last week. That hasn't come out of nowhere. Obviously, expected him to have a good year, but this is like a really special year.
Yeah, it's really special for him and us. We knew he had some potential, but he's really went beyond what we really expected out of him. He's throwing the ball extremely well. I think he's got 11 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's being very careful with the ball. His time management has been really good. So he's done everything that we've asked him to do.
And he's got a lot of weapons too. Can you speak to those guys?
At the beginning of the year, everybody was saying, okay, you've got your running backs. We know who those 2 kids are. We know what kind of players they are. Now you've got Spencer Brown, 6'8" at an end. And then we have Dawson Tolberg and Dylan Bennett can switch off at ends. So we have weapons. We don't rely simply on 1 or 2 guys. If we have to throw the ball, any 4 of those guys or 5 of them can catch the ball. So we're not afraid to use any of them at any time.
You talked about the defense a little bit, and I think you said to Ryan Matheny in an interview that you feel sorry for the people that are trying to block Spencer, and now he's getting doubled and tripled and chipped and all that. How's he dealing with that?
He's a gamer. There's times that after that first game where he had all those sacks and he was leading the state in sacks and he just ran over people. Since that time, people, like you said, they're doubling him, they're chipping him with a back, whatever. It hasn't deterred him. His attitude has still been really good. He still goes after people. But we have noticed that there are times that he doesn't go as hard as he should. And we've addressed that with him. He knows what he needs to do. So he's a game changer. He can knock passes down. It's hard to get around him as long as he is.
And, he had the knee injury, and obviously he was just saying that he wasn't supposed to start playing until mid-September, September 11th or whatever. Was that and then you get him in for that first game. What was that like? That had to be a big boost for just the morale.
Oh, yeah, just the team morale, because we knew going into East Union that we wasn't going to have him that first week. So we'd practiced from camp all the way through without him, and then all of a sudden we get the news that he gets to play that night, and it was like, oh my gosh, now what? Now that just changed our entire game plan, everything. But we held him out off the offense most of the night. He played a lot of the defense, so that was just everybody rallied around him, and it was great to have him back for the first game.
Spencer, with the doubles and triples, that opens up a lot of things for some other guys. Who are some of the guys benefiting from that? And also, their talent is also shining through.
Oh, yeah, our linebackers have done a really nice job. We've got probably the 2 smallest linebackers in the state, Jared Hensley and Josh Mitchell. But those 2 guys really have a nose for the ball. When they chip on Spencer or even double him, that opens up a lane for our guys when we blitz. So those 2 guys have really benefited from it. Our other defensive end, Sam Donaldson, has also benefited because now people are running at him. So he has an opportunity now to make more plays. Our nose guard, and it depends on who we play that night, Jordan David or Levi Marshall. Either one of those guys, they make a big difference in there. Jordan uses his speed a little bit more, where Levi, we can use his his size to plug the middle a little bit better. Our corners, putting pressure on their quarterback, it really makes our corners, Dawson Tolberg and Dylan Bennett, to really concentrate on pass routes, making sure that they know where their receivers are at.
Had a good team last year too, a playoff team. A lot of these same guys. I asked these kids the same thing, but what's different about this team in a positive realm? Oh,
positive. I think just work ethic. I think these guys really come in since August and really have worked. They want to set out. We've had a really nice run here, making the playoffs and stuff. So they want to continue that. But these guys aren't satisfied with just making the playoffs. They want to go farther. So they want to go deep into it. So we'll just have to see what they do.
All right, now let's get to this upcoming week. This is the beginning of a real stretch here with East Mills, Fremont Mills, and Stanton and Cam. So East Mills is first. What sticks out to you?
Hopkins. He's to us on film, he looks like he's by far their best player. So we know that we have to kind of slow him down, or at least attempt to. And I know that's going to be hard to do because he is such a good player. We want someone else to step up and beat us. And that's on both sides of the ball. I mean, this kid is a heck of a football player. But we know that he's going to be tough. If we shut him down, then we have to shut down their quarterback, because I think he runs the ball just as well and then their other running back, and their receivers, I think they're a good quality football team. So we just have to be prepared on all phases of the game.
Hopkins is kind of he's a major threat offensive, but you have to worry about him on defense too, don't you?
Yeah, they'll line him up in the middle, then they'll move him out on coverage. He's one of these kids. A year ago, they moved him. We thought we knew where he was going to be all the time, but they moved him, and that's what they're doing with him again this year. And it's to their advantage, because he has a nose for the ball on the defense. He hits hard. He's a sure tackler. So we have to make sure we get a hat on him every time.
Your two non-district games were against teams that are in pretty good standing in their own districts. So you haven't played some bad teams, I wouldn't say. But I guess is this defensive line for East Mills, is this going to be the toughest test for your O-line?
I really think so, because they are big. So we have to make sure that we get to where we need to be. They look like they're fairly quick on the defensive side. So we have to, like I say, we have to make sure we get somebody on them and get the holes opened up. We have to force them into something that they don't want to do.
Them playing that game against Fremont Mills last week and the week before against Stanton, and maybe this is a better question for them. Are you feel like you can get worn out that way?
Yeah, I think you can, and that's what we're going to start facing this week. They're starting to come out of the big four, if you want to call it that, and now we're going into it. So by the time we get around to play Fremont Mills a week from now, it's going to be tiring. You're going to be mentally exhausted and also physically. Hopefully, we don't allow our mental part to get into it. We want to stay mentally focused and go from there. But, for the most part, yeah, their defensive line, or, everybody's going to be at that point when you play these quality football teams.
I guess keys to this upcoming Friday night, what's going to need to happen for you guys?
One, we have to cut down on penalties again. Even Friday night, that was one of our focuses, and we only had 30 yards in penalties. But we need to cut that down. We can't have turnovers. If we do have turnover, we can't give a short field. We have to play the best football game that we've played all year long to get by East Mills, because like I said, they're a quality football team. We have to know where Hopkins is at all times. So hopefully, if we do that, we can come out of there with a win.
Coach, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Good start.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to start with you, Carson. First of all, you got to talk about this past week's performance on defense. 4 defensive touchdowns, 3 of them pick six, and 1 was a fumble recovery. What the heck was going on there?
Well, for the interceptions, the pass rush was real good, and the coaches, we watched a lot of film, and the coaches gave us scattering reports on what they would run. So I had a good idea what was coming. I just was in the right position, I guess.
Was that, kind of going into the game, did you feel like that was something that could happen?
Yeah, I was hoping for an interception or two. I really wasn't planning on 4, but I guess I'll just take what was given to me.
5-0, great start to the season. No games have been close. What do you attribute all that to?
Great line play, preparation. Everybody's been taking it serious. Everybody's been ready. That's all it takes.
Seems like a lot of balance on the offense too. I mean, you're the quarterback and you have to distribute the ball around. Can you speak about all the weapons that you have at your disposal?
Well, we got Hensley and Sam Donaldson in the backfield. They've been doing great. They run hard. Hensley runs great pass routes for me. Spencer's a great tight end, and I got Dylan Bennett, my other tight end. He's real fast. He's good too.
Tell me about the offensive line. Who are the guys up there?
Oh, we've took a huge step forward from last year. We got Derek Fintiger at center, who's been great. Levi Marshall, who's been great as he always has, and Tyler Brokaw changed positions to guard, and he's done real good there too.
Yeah, that was something Coach Dukes had mentioned at the beginning of the year, like running backs moving to the offensive line. What's that all about?
Yeah, Tyler was a running back last year. He played. That's all he played was running back. He wasn't even really a defensive guy, and now he switched over to guard, and he's been doing great. Tough kid, real good.
Definitely talk a lot about the defense when I talk to Spencer here because he's got a lot of sacks. But defensively, everything's been going great there too. What's been happening?
Well, I mean, we haven't given up much. We all like to team tackle. We all like to stick our heads in there. We all like to make plays and hit people. So that's all it takes, I guess.
Looking at, obviously, you've reached the point in the schedule where it gets really tough here. East Mills, Fremont Mills, Stanson. Not that it wasn't tough before, but what are you guys? How are you feeling, kind of going into these?
I feel good. I think the whole team's got a lot of confidence. We're all ready to go. We really just need to take it one game at a time.
Carson, great job so far. Appreciate it. Let's move over to the big man here, Spencer. What 6'8" now?
Yeah, 6'8", 240 around there.
So are you still going? Are you still growing?
When I have my doctor's appointments now, the growth plate's pretty much sealed up, so I'm pretty much done.
Well, 6'8's a pretty good place to get to, I guess. Tell me about the sacks. I think you might be leading the state in sacks. What's the story there? Your arms just kind of so long that you reach over and are able to get him right away, or what's happening?
No, I'm just the first game. I mean, they weren't double teaming me. It was kind of easy to get back there. Then the games progressed. I was getting doubled, sometimes tripled. But the D-backs, I mean, if they're scattering reports, they know the routes to run. The quarterback can't get the ball off soon enough. So about 3 to 4 more seconds, and we have them. So
with the doubles and triples, what's that do for everybody else?
That opens up Josh Mitchell. He comes in there flying. He has a couple sacks, a couple forced fumbles. It just opens up everybody else's. I mean, it makes it easier, I guess, for them. So
I think Coach Duke said in an interview he feels sorry for people that have to block you. I guess what have you encountered in terms of? I mean, do you feel like everybody wants to take their chance at you, or what's going on?
I feel like they have a preparation. I mean, I've seen different blocking schemes. They've had the guard come over. They've had the running back step up and just chip me, and then the center kind of floats up. But I've seen a lot of stuff. I'm just trying to adapt to it.
Something new every week, I guess. I know you had an injury, your knee injury. Tell me about that. And I kept you out of baseball season, I believe.
Yeah, I had a surgery May 15th, and I was just rehabbing all summer, trying to get back, working out my upper body, and then I got released that Friday morning at 10:30, and then played that Friday night.
Did you you practiced, or I mean?
Yeah, I practiced with the team. I didn't go full pads. I went shells. I still conditioned on my own, kind of off the side while they just practice all day. But I mean, I was with the team doing drills and all that stuff.
I assume the plan all along was for you to be ready for that first game. Do you feel like, I mean, progression wise, you were getting there, and then obviously they let you go on that night?
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to be released till September 11th, so I was like 2 weeks after our first game. But I said, call up there. I feel good. Practice. I mean, I'm ready, so they made it happen.
Obviously, 5-0, been a great start, offense and defense. What's working besides everything?
I'd say it's that great line. I mean, Cline's an excellent quarterback. Don't give up on your routes because he'll find you sooner or later. But the line's really getting after it, so that's good.
What's last year you guys had a good team too. Is there anything different, maybe a positive side of things this year compared to last year?
This year, I mean, I'd say we got more go-getter attitude about it. I'm guys come in and work hard. Weight room, they worked hard. So it's all working out.
Spencer, thanks a lot.
Yep.